guess what? We're going to learn something lovely this time around. We are going to be looking into something sweet and lovely. And very most important, before we get started, number one, get your writing materials. Like, take it serious. A serious approach will always give a glorious result. In other words, take it extremely serious. Get your writing materials, write along, study intensively along as we proceed so that you can maximize and make the best out of this class. That's number one. Number two, ensure you are subscribed to this channel. This class is proudly brought to you by the LearnLiftApp. Ensure you are subscribed to this channel so that anytime we are dropping classes, you are the first to receive notifications directly from us. Are you with me? Take this class extremely serious. Well, let's go, guys. We're going to look into something lovely and something captivating. And guess what? We're going to be studying everything about the whole of these that we have here. And of course, you can see that this is the heart. And then we're going to study the heart and look at its blood vessels under something that is called your cardiovascular system. So your cardiovascular system is also called your CVS. And the word CVS, or your cardiovascular system is gotten from two words. And what are the two words? The first one there is called your cardio. Anytime you hear the word cardio, what does the word cardio mean? Cardio is talking about heart. And number two is talking about vascular. And what's vascular? Vessels. And which of the vessels in particular are we referring to? Of course, they are going to be nothing but your blood vessels. So you can see quickly here that these are more like the great vessels of the heart here that are taking blood. Some are taking blood into the heart, some are taking blood away from the heart, and all of that. We're going to look at every singular thing in this in details. So the study of the heart and its vessels, what do we call it? It's called your cardiovascular system. So aside what you are going to enjoy in this, ensure that you have the LearnLiftApp in your phone. The LearnLiftApp contains your notes. For those of you that need the notes, all of them are inside the LearnLiftApp. Your MCQ questions, in the sense that MCQ questions where you can play MCQ questions and then interact, and then, are you with me, a lot under this particular class I'm taking now. All of them are within the LearnLiftApp. Sit tight, get relaxed, get settled, grab a juice, and let's flow together. So inside your cardiovascular system, we're going to begin with the first, which is the introduction to cardiovascular system. So there are a lot of lessons we have to learn under cardiovascular system. 5 of them is what we're going to be looking at. The lesson 1 is called the definition of cardiovascular system. When we are done with everything about definition of cardiovascular system in lesson 1, we go to lesson 2, and that's everything about your heart structure. Lesson 3 is about blood flow. Lesson 4 is heart coverings and heart chamber. And then lesson 5 is heart walls and heart vessels. We're going to take everything step by step. And the goal is to ensure that you are understanding and you are catching it. Are you getting me? Until you understand this, LearnLift will never rest. So be with me so that we'll go together. So we're going to begin with the first class. That's the definition of cardiovascular system. Everything about this class that you are learning now is on the definition of cardiovascular system. And in the definition of cardiovascular system, you are to note 3 lovely things. And what are these 3 things we are going to note in this class? We are going to learn everything about what is cardiovascular system. Then we are going to learn the characteristics of cardiovascular system. And then we cap it up with the functions of cardiovascular system. Immediately we are done with the definition of cardiovascular system, please ensure you run through the top 20 MCQ questions on the definition of cardiovascular system so that you flow along with me. Let's go. So what is cardiovascular system as we get started in this class? How do you define cardiovascular system? What is cardiovascular system? What is expected of us to note? It's very simple. Understand this very fast. That cardiovascular system consists of 2 things, the heart and the blood vessels. So we're going to look at heart, and then we also look at the blood vessels. Very, very important, because these are the 2 major things that you see in your cardiovascular system because of the name cardio, heart, vascular system, vessels. Are you getting it now? The next is this very fast. Cardiovascular system sends blood to, how many areas is that blood going to? 3 primordial main areas you have to note. Number 1, it sends blood to the lungs for what? For oxygenation. Are you getting me now? Now you can see very quickly that this is the lungs. Of course, there are 2 lungs. There we have the right lungs and the left lungs. These lungs and then your lungs. So what is sending blood to the lungs for oxygenation? It is by the help of the cardiovascular system. Number 2, cardiovascular system will send blood to the digestive system for nutrient absorption. In other words, the body needs nutrients to function effectively well. Are you getting me now? So the blood that we take that will go to the digestive system, where is it going to move from? It is from the cardiovascular system. And then you can see your digestive system very quickly. All of these areas, blood need to flow, and then we need nutrient absorption from the digestive system. And what will help in nutrient absorption through the villi, of course, there is need for vessels to be in that location. And then number 3, very, very important, which is the third, it also circulates waste products to certain organ systems for removal from the blood. In other words, the cardiovascular system also help for what? For your waste product removal. Are you getting me? Now, under waste product removal, how is this carried out? There are a couple of ways in which it is carried out. Number 1 is by the help of the kidney. Now look at this very quickly. You can see your kidney, your urethra, and your bladder, your urethra, bladder, KUB. These are the kidney, urethra, and then your what? Your bladder. Now, what helps in the removal of waste? Of course, kidney assists in your waste removal. How does it carry this out? The kidney are primarily responsible for filtering waste products. Now, and excess substances, it's not just waste product they remove waste products, and they also remove excess substances. What are the excess substances? We have your urea is one, we have your creatinine is another, and various toxins. All these things that are toxic to the body, they are removed from the blood, and then they form what is called the urine. So urine now is now eliminated from the body. All of these are carried out by the help of the kidney. Don't forget this, that it removes your urea, your creatinine, and then various toxins from the blood in the form of your urine. Now, another thing that you should know about the kidney very quickly is this. Follow me. The urine now that is formed, what happened to the urine? The urine is transported to the bladder for eventual elimination from the body. So when the urine gets to the bladder, anytime you hear the word bladder is nothing but storage. Are you getting me now? So the bladder stores the urine, especially that the urinary bladder, because we have what is called gallbladder. Bladder is for storage, whether gallbladder or urinary bladder. But the urinary bladder now, we store the urine for eventual elimination from the body. Now, another thing that also helps for the elimination of waste products from the body is called the liver. Now, you can see quickly here that this is your liver. This guy in green, very fast. What is this guy in green? This is your gallbladder. That's your gallbladder. Now, how does the liver helps in the elimination of your waste products? It's simple. The liver is responsible for something. What does it do? It helps in metabolizing. So metabolism of many waste products is by the liver. And this waste product metabolism there, they include, for instance, you have your ammonia is number 1, your drugs. Of course, drugs are detoxified in the liver. Oh yes, by your first pass effect. So any hard substances such as your drugs, when they get to the liver will detoxify them. And also your toxins, which is the third part. Now, if the liver acts on them, what will happen? It will turn them into less harmful substances that can be excreted by the body. In other words, these guys are harmful substances. They need to be stepped down in terms of their toxicity or the harm that they can cause to the body. And what steps that down? It is by the liver. Therefore, the liver helps in the elimination of waste from the body. Another thing that you must hold tight is this: the liver also play a role in breaking down old red blood cells. In other words, when your red blood cells are old, what happens? They are destroyed in the spleen, which is referred to as the graveyard of RBC. Now, the liver plays a role in breaking down old red blood cells. When it breaks them down, what happens? It will convert the hemoglobin component of them into your bilirubin. And this bilirubin is eventually excreted in your in your bile. Are you getting me now? Another thing you must put very fast that helps to circulate waste products in the body or removal of waste from blood is the lungs. Now, how does the lungs carry this out? Of course, you need to be knowing the names of every singular thing very, very well. these are the lungs that we have here. Of course, here is called your windpipe, also known as the trachea. Are you with me? Of course, these guys here are the bronchi. Now, anything that will now come and form underneath the lungs, what will be underneath the lungs? Of course, that is the diaphragm that you should have there. So this guy here, we have established that this is your trachea. Now, how does the lungs help in the removal of waste from the blood? Now, very simple. Take note that the primary function of the lungs is exchange of two things. Number one, it will take in oxygen and then give out carbon dioxide. So the primary function of the lungs is to exchange oxygen and what? Carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide or carbon dioxide is going out, oxygen is coming in, and they also play a role in eliminating small amounts of what? Waste products. Now, carbon dioxide, which is the carbon dioxide, is a waste product of what? Cellular respiration. In other words, carbon dioxide is a byproduct of your cellular respiration, and since it's a byproduct, it needs to be eliminated from the body, and it is transported in the blood to the lungs. So what we take it to the lungs is the blood. Are you getting me now? Where it is exhaled from the body during breathing. So during exhalation, what happens? Carbon dioxide or carbon dioxide is given out, and then oxygen, inhalation, is what? Taken in. Are you getting me now? The next quickly that you should know is this. That's the fourth thing that helps in the elimination of waste from the body. It is called the skin. Oh yes. Now, how does the skin carry this out? Take note that the skin is involved in the elimination of certain waste products through sweat. So skin eliminates waste products through your what? Your sweat. Another is this. Your sweat contains various waste substances, and these substances are a good example. You have your salt, you also have your what? Your urea, and all of these are excreted out of the body through the what? The sweat glands, and then the blood is what helps in the circulation of the waste product in the body that will eventually leave through the what? Through the skin. Are you getting me? The fifth quickly that we're going to go tight is called the intestine. Oh yes, sir. Does the intestine eliminate waste products? Yes. Which of the intestine? Is it the large intestine or the small intestine? Of course, it is the large intestine. Take note, the intestines, particularly the what? The large intestine, are involved in the elimination of waste products from the digestive processes that the body undergo. Now, how is this possible? Indigestible materials, in other words, you have eaten. It's not all food that will digest. There are some that will not digest. Are you getting me now? Or will not be processed by the body. Indigestible materials as well as cellular debris. What happened to those cellular debris? Another waste product in the body. They will find their way and enter into the feces. When they get to the feces, they are eventually expelled from the body. Of course, the large intestine will eliminate them and then send them to the rectum. The rectum will shape them into pellets, and then you release them from the body. That's intestine. And then the next quickly that we're going to look at now, that you should know very fast, is the characteristics of cardiovascular system. Now that you understand what is cardiovascular system, what are the characteristics of cardiovascular system? We have to note there are a couple of them we are going to look at. Let's go together one after the other. In the characteristics of cardiovascular system, I want you to note this. Number one character is two-pressure system. Now, we have abundance of MCQs that flow in through this area. Now, what are the two-pressure system that is a character of cardiovascular system? It's very simple. The cardiovascular system consists of two main circuits. Now, what are the two circuits? Number one is called the systemic circulation, and number two is called the pulmonary circulation. Of course, you already know what systemic circulation is, and then you already have an idea of your pulmonary circulation. Let's explain. Now, what type of circulation can I see here? You can see very quickly here that in this is showing the two pressure system, or the two main circuits in the body, where blood has the ability to leave the heart and flow to the lungs. If blood leaves the heart and goes to the lungs, what happens? The blood will leave the lungs and come back to the heart again. What type of circulation is that? It is pulmonary, the one in which the blood will leave the heart and flow to all other parts of the body except the lungs. What do we call that? It is called your systemic circulation. Now, this is it very fast. Systemic circulation carries oxygenated blood to body tissues. Now, don't forget, one is carrying oxygenated blood, the other is carrying deoxygenated blood. What carries oxygenated blood? systemic circulation carries what? Oxygenated blood to the body tissues. That's very, very important. Another thing is this: pulmonary circulation will not carry oxygenated blood. No. It will carry what? Deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Why is it going to the lungs? So as to receive what? Oxygenation. As we proceed, there are a lot of processes that are in this. We're going to look at it. Man, forget about what you have learned before. Are you with me? Forget about the things you know before and all of that. This is a new stuff entirely. And we're going to be going deep into a lot of deep waters. But let's start on the light note since you are just at the beginning now. Another thing is this: systemic circulation generally involve higher pressure. Now follow me. Which one is at a higher pressure? Systemic circulation is at a higher pressure compared to pulmonary circulation. Pulmonary circulation is at lower pressure. Now, why is systemic circulation at a higher pressure? You know that blood that leaves the heart, especially through the left ventricle, is going to live at a high pressure and pump to the aorta, where it will flow through the arch of aorta before going to the descending aorta. So take note that systemic circulation generally involves higher pressures, while pulmonary involve what? Lower pressures. That's number one characteristic of cardiovascular system we are to note. Of course, two pressure circuits or two pressure system: the systemic circulation and the pulmonary circulation. One is carrying oxygenated blood, the other one is carrying deoxygenated blood. One is carrying oxygenated systemic circulation, carries oxygenated blood to where? To body tissues. Pulmonary carry what? Deoxygenated blood to where? To the lungs for what? Oxygenation. Are you getting me now? And then systemic circulation is at the higher pressure, pulmonary circulation is at the what? Lower pressure. Another character that we must also note very quickly is called closed circuit system. In other words, there's what they call open circuit system and there's what is called your closed circuit system. What is the characteristic of cardiovascular system? It is called your closed circuit system. Why is it so? The reason is this: the cardiovascular system is a closed loop system. In other words, it is closed loop. You can see this, your blood vessel. The blood vessel, is it open or is closed? Of course, it is closed. You can see that it's a circuit. Are you getting me now? Meaning that blood circulates within a closed network of blood vessels. Blood is not just flowing anyhow in the body. No, blood is flowing through your vessels. Now, another is this: it is not an open-ended system. No. It is not open-ended. It is what? A closed circuit system. Now, the third character we are going to look at, which is the character number 3, is called your pulsatile and continuous flow. Now, this is it. Your blood flow in the cardiovascular system, how is it? It is pulsatile and it is continuous. By pulsatile, what do we mean? Take note of this, that your blood flow is pulsatile. What makes blood flow to be pulsatile? It is due to the rhythmic contractions of the heart. Now, the rhythmic contraction, in other words, the heart has a pattern in which it beats. Are you getting me now? This rhythmic contraction of the heart is called your heartbeat. Are you getting me? What makes your blood flow in the heart to be pulsatile? It is pulsatile because of the rhythmic contraction of the heart. If you place your hand in your chest, like your chest region where your heart is, are you getting me? As we proceed, I'll tell you the exact name of those areas that it is. Now, what do you hear? You start hearing lop-dop. Are you getting me now? Or if you use your stethoscope, what will you be hearing? Lop-dop. It's not give. No, it is lop-dop. Are you getting me now? Now, the flow is pulsatile. In fact, you can even feel it at certain blood vessels in certain locations. I'm going to explain the whole of those things as we move on. Are you with me? But just know that it is what? Pulsatile. Another thing is this: the pulsatile flow, where does it originate from? It originates from the heart. It originates from the heart. Are you getting me now? Now, which area of the heart is it coming from? Of course, by the aid of the pacemaker cells. As we get down, I will show you. As it originates from the heart, it becomes more continuous as it travels through the blood vessels, because you can feel it at various locations within the body. Are you getting me now? I'm going to show you all these locations and tell you all of their names because it's a constant question. Now, the next character, which is the character number 4, which is a characteristic of the cardiovascular system, is called organs connected in parallel. There's what is called series connection in physics, and there's what is called your parallel connection. Now, how are the organs in the cardiovascular system connected? Are they connected in series or they are connected in parallel? They are connected in parallel, not in series. Now, listen to this. Most organs in the body, they receive blood supply in what type of arrangement? In parallel arrangement, where blood flow through multiple pathways to reach different tissues. Now, let me explain this with a diagram for you that you will easily understand. Now, this is it. If blood leaves the heart, let's say this is the heart. As blood leaves the heart, let's say which part of the heart is it leaving? It is leaving the left ventricle. As the blood is flowing, the blood will flow through the what? Arch of aorta, and then it will now come to the descending aorta. Let's stay on the descending aorta here. As the blood flows down, what happens? Blood that is going to the stomach, you that you are going to the stomach, oh yeah, move your way, and then you will move. The one that is going to the liver, oh yeah, go your own way, it will go. Whatever is going to the kidney, go. You are going to the spleen, okay, move. You are going to the pancreas, move. You are going this way, go. You go. This type of connection, what is it called? It is called your parallel connection. It is different from your series connection. Now, what happens in series connection? Imagine, now, from this diagram I drew here, what can you see? As the blood is flowing from the descending aorta, every part is receiving simultaneously. Imagine that the kidney has to receive its own blood first. Blood will flow through the kidney. Then from the kidney, now go to the spleen. From the spleen, is going to the liver. Liver will receive. Kidney has not received anything. No. Are you getting me? That kind of connection is called connection in series. But the kind of connection in the human body is parallel connection, constant MCQ. Another thing is this: the parallel connection is more efficient than series connection, where blood will flow through each organ in sequence. In other words, one organ will receive first before another organ receives. No, that's not what happens in the human body. Everybody is receiving simultaneously. Another character of cardiovascular system, which is character number 5, is called unidirectional flow with valves. Now, how does blood flow in cardiovascular system? Of course, the blood flow in one direction. In other words, the blood flow is unidirectional. Unidirectional. What is ensuring that unidirectional flow of blood? It is by the help of the valves. Of course, now, you can see that we have valves at this location, right? And then you can also see your valves at this location. Now, of course, this is the left part of the body. Here is your left, and then here is your what? Your right. Left part of the heart, and then here's your right part of the heart, or right chamber of the heart. Now, within this left here, you can see that this valve that we have here is between the left atrium and the left ventricle. This valve you have here is between the right atrium and the right ventricle. I don't want to jump. I want us to go in sequence so that you can follow me very, very well. Let's go, guys. The unidirectional flow with valves, how is it like? This is it very quickly. The heart and blood vessels are equipped with valves. Take note of that. We have valves in the heart, and we also have valves in the blood vessels that ensure that blood flow in one direction. Now, does the heart have valves? Yes. In fact, there are 4 major valves in the heart that we have. We have what is called the tricuspid valve. We have what is called the bicuspid valve. We have what is called the semilunar valves. What are the semilunar valves? The aortic semilunar valve and the pulmonary semilunar valve. I'll explain those things in details. But now this is it. If your blood vessels also have valves, which of the blood vessels will have valves? Are they the arteries or they are the veins? Are they arteries or they are veins? Of course, blood flows through the arteries at high pressure, so they don't really need valves anymore. The one that have valves, they are the veins. V for vein, V for valves. Another thing quickly is this: valves, what do? They prevent backflow of blood. That's number 1. And they maintain the desired flow direction. In other words, valve does 2 major functions. Number 1, they prevent backflow of blood. Number 2, they maintain the desired flow direction of blood, or they ensure unidirectional flow of blood. The next quickly we're going to learn, which is the 6th character, is called elastic system. Now, your cardiovascular system, is it elastic or it is inelastic? It is elastic. It gives room for expansion. Why is it so? The reason is this: the walls of your blood vessels,
That's the blood vessels, their walls, including the vessels, the arteries and the veins. All of them are what? Are elastic. Arteries, are they elastic? Yes. Veins, are they elastic? Yes. Which one is more elastic than the other? Of course, arteries are more elastic than veins. But are they elastic? Yes. And they allow for expansion. Now, why are they allowing for expansion? Because it's possible that you are jogging or you are doing exercise. As you are doing exercise, what will happen? Of course, the amount of blood that is going into the heart will increase, right? As it increases, what happens? The vessels also need to give room. They need to expand so that blood can flow through them. Are you getting me? They allow them to expand and contract with change in blood pressure. So as your volume of blood that is passing through a vessel, the volume or the amount of blood, the pressure that is passing through a vessel per time, as it increases, what will happen? It will also expand. As it reduces, the blood vessels will do what? Also, they will do what? They will contract. Are you getting me now? Now catch this very quickly with me. Take note that this elasticity is what helps to maintain consistent blood flow, and it prevents damage to the blood vessels. So as a result of this, what happens? The reason is this: the system, that's your cardiovascular system, is elastic rather than it being what? Rigid. Now, the next character of cardiovascular system we're going to learn very quickly, that's your character number 7, is called passive feeling of the heart. Now, this is it. How is the heart filled? Is it passively or actively? It is passively. Passive feeling of the heart. Heart is not filled actively. No, it is passively. Why is it so? It is so because the heart chamber, they fill with blood passively. Again, primarily due to the pressure gradient created by relaxation of heart muscles during diastole. Now, what's your diastole? Diastole is more like that stage or that period of relaxation of the heart. In other words, as you are sleeping, let me explain in more literal terms so that you understand this character. Let's assume you are sleeping at night. As you are sleeping, are you carrying out any activity? No. Is the heart functioning? Yes. And since you are asleep, what happens? For example, that is during diastole, relaxation. Are you getting me now? What happens? How is the heart filled with blood? The heart is filled with blood passively, not actively. Now, another thing we must know very fast is very simple. This is it. Now, this is assisted by the elasticity of the heart muscles. So, what assists the passive feeling of the heart? Number one thing that assists is the elasticity of the heart muscles and their surrounding structures. Now, as a result of this, the heart is filled passively rather than active sucking of blood into the heart. So it's not that you must by force go and be drinking blood by the use of energy. No. How is the heart filled? It is passive. Anything that is active feeling, of course, energy is involved there, and then it is against concentration gradient. Are you getting it now? How is the heart filled? Heart is filled passively rather than what? Actively. The next character we're going to look at very quickly, that's number 8. Number 8 is called positive mean pressure. Oh yes. Now, what is the pressure of the heart? It is positive. Don't forget that. Positive mean pressure. What do we mean by this? It is simple. The cardiovascular system operates with a positive mean pressure. Why is it so? Meaning that there is a baseline pressure that is always present even when the heart is relaxed. In other words, there is that baseline pressure that is always maintained. The pressure is always there. Whether you are jogging, whether you are relaxed, there is that pressure that is baseline. You know, there's a way somebody will just tell himself, for example, you just tell yourself, man, if I broke, are you there with me? If I broke, no matter what you want to put in this life, I should not be broke below. For example, you can just tell yourself as a student, okay, that you should not be broke below baseline of like 20k. Are you there? Play? Now, the same thing for the heart. Cardiovascular system operates with a positive mean pressure. There is that baseline pressure that is always present even when the heart is what? Relaxed. Now, why is it so? It is so because this pressure is important to maintain circulation even during diastole. Now, what do we mean by this? Okay, there is let me say there's like a reserve of blood that is always in the heart, that the heart does not go below. Are you getting me now? So that even if you are asleep, small blood that flow into the heart can also give out something. It can pump out something so as to ensure that the person body, everything is in order and everything is going perfectly well. That's the reason for that positive mean pressure. Another thing is this very quickly. Number 9 is called ventricular capacity and diastolic filling volume. Now let me give you this. What should happen to ventricular capacity? What should happen to diastolic filling volume? Simple. These things are constant MCQ, so no play. Now, this is it. The volume of blood that the ventricles of the heart can hold is called ventricular capacity. And it is usually, in other words, ventricular capacity, that's your VC, is usually greater than the volume of blood that they receive during diastole. And what they receive during diastole is called diastolic filling volume. It is called what? Your diastolic filling volume, DFV. In other words, your VC, your ventricular capacity, is always greater than the diastolic filling volume. Now, let me say this very quickly. Let me say this. For example, let me say you are very, very hungry, and then you walk into a fast food to go and eat. Will you just grab everything you see in the fast food and start eating everything or start ordering for anything that you like? No. You have to check your pockets. In other words, you check your diastolic filling volume first before you start to order. That does not mean that your stomach cannot accommodate more than your pocket. Your stomach can accommodate abundance, but you have to at all times check your pocket. Why? Because your stomach, it has capacity, right? Ventricular capacity is greater than the diastolic filling volume. Are you getting me now? Now, the volume of blood that the ventricles can hold, if you want to try ventricle can hold very, very well. The volume of blood that they can hold is usually greater than the diastolic filling volume. Diastole is during relaxation. Diastolic filling volume, amount of blood that is entering the heart during relaxation, the amount of blood that is coming in is less compared to what the ventricle can hold. Why is it so? It is so because, now catch this, it helps to ensure efficient ejection of blood during systole. In other words, ventricular capacity being greater than the diastolic filling volume helps to ensure efficient ejection of blood during what? Systole. Now, another thing is this. Hence, ventricular capacity is normally greater than diastolic filling volume. Constant what? FCQ. Number 10 character very quickly that we're going to note. It is called your vascular resistance. You can see this guy here is trying to push that vessel and compress the vessel. In other words, it's applying resistance to that vascular system. It's applying resistance to that blood vessel. Are you getting me now? Take note of this very fast. The resistance encountered by blood flow in blood vessel, as a name, it is called vascular resistance. What is vascular resistance? It is that resistance, that opposition encountered by blood flow in blood vessel. As blood is flowing through this vessel, what happens? It is encountering resistance, and this is a major factor that influences the rate of blood flow. Now follow me, listen to this. Your rate of blood flow, RBF, rate of blood flow, is influenced majorly by your what? Your vascular resistance. But understand this with me very fast. Take note. The resistance, that's your vascular resistance, is influenced by 3 major factors. What are the 3 major factors that influences your vascular resistance? Number 1 major factor is called your vessel diameter. What's number 1 called? Vessel diameter. In other words, the diameter of the blood vessel have role to play. Let's say, for instance, this is the blood vessel, right? Of course, you have to check the diameter of the blood vessel. You have to check the diameter. This is the diameter of the vessel. Are you getting me now? So your vascular and your vessel diameter is one major factor that influence or affect your vascular resistance. That's number 1. Number 2 is called your vessel length. Number 2 is called vessel length. The length of the blood vessel. We have put into account your vessel diameter. Number 2 is called your vessel length, and number 3 is called the viscosity of blood, or your blood viscosity. That is the viscosity of blood. In other words, the thickness of the blood also have a role to play in the what? In the vascular resistance that it will encounter. Now, what is it that contribute to vascular resistance? Three major factors: your vessel diameter, your vessel length, and your blood viscosity. Your vessel diameter, your vessel length, and your what? Your blood viscosity. These are the three primary factors that have role to play in your vascular resistance. Don't forget that. Then next, quickly now that we are going to look at, after we have looked at everything about your characteristics of cardiovascular system, which are 10 of them, we're going to go into the functions of cardiovascular system one after the other. Oh yes. If they ask you, what is the primary function of cardiovascular system? Cardiovascular system has one primary or primordial or major function. And the major function of cardiovascular system is for transportation, transport. So the major challenge or the major function of cardiovascular system is transportation. Are you with me now? Let's go, guys. Now, how does transport affect or function in terms of your cardiovascular system, being functions of cardiovascular system? Number one function, there is transport of oxygen. Everything I'm going to be hearing, you're going to be transport of. Now, transport of oxygen is number one. This is it very quickly. The cardiovascular system transports oxygen, of course, from the where? From the lungs. In other words, it is the lungs that we give oxygen to cardiovascular system, where it is inhaled to the body tissues and cells. In other words, any oxygen in the lungs, they are received from the cardiovascular system, and then it is now transported to the body tissues and then to the what? To the cells, so as to carry out their functions. Now, the next is this quickly. Oxygen is crucial for cellular respiration. In other words, no oxygen, no cellular respiration. In fact, cellular respiration is not complete if there is no oxygen. And that is the process that produces energy in cells. Are you with me now? In other words, what will ensure that energy is generated in cell? Of course, oxygen is needed, so that energy now can be generated in the form of your what? Your ATP, adenosine triphosphate. The next quickly, which is number two function of cardiovascular system, is called transportation of carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide here is carbon dioxide. Of course, I call it majorly what they are always using most of the time is those who don't name carbon dioxide. Let's go, guys. The system, which is cardiovascular system, carries carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide, of course, is a waste product of cellular metabolism from the tissues, that's from the body tissues, back to the lungs where it is exhaled. Now, this is it very quickly. Let's say this here, this is our heart, of course, and here this is our what? Our lungs here. What happens at the end of the day? Of course, if as you take in oxygen through your nostrils, they will flow through the windpipe and then they will get their way down to the lungs. When they get to the lungs, what happens there? The lungs will give out carbon dioxide and the lungs will accept oxygen. That oxygen that they accept, they take it to the what? To the cardiovascular system, that's to the heart. The heart will receive it, of course, great blood vessels of the heart that will take the blood in back into the heart. We take the oxygen to the heart. Are you getting me now? When the oxygen gets to the heart, of course, carbon dioxide is going to the lungs from the heart to the lungs. Oxygen is leaving the lungs back to the heart. I'm going to explain all of this when we get to the heart in proper, and then we are looking at how blood flow through the heart. So we're going to understand all of these things very well. Take note of this, that again, that the system carries carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is a waste product of cellular respiration or cellular metabolism from the body tissues back to the lungs where it is what? Exhaled. Another lovely thing that I should note is this, which is the next function of the cardiovascular system. It is transport of nutrients. Oh yes. Now, your cardiovascular system ensures that there is transport of nutrients around the body. How is this carried out? Nutrient like your glucose, end product of carbohydrates. What is it? Is we give rise to your glucose. Your vitamins, your amino acids, and your minerals are absorbed from the digestive system. When they are absorbed from the digestive system, what happens? They are transported through the bloodstream to various cells and tissues in the body. And this, of course, will provide the necessary building block and energy for body functions. Now, of course, you know what is called your hepatic portal vein, right? Oh, yes. Your hepatic portal vein is the major blood vessel that helps in the absorption of your nutrients It will transport the nutrients and take it from the small intestine and wire its way to the liver. Are you getting me now? As we move, I will show you all of those things one after the other. It is a series. Ensure that you are not missing any class. You are following them step by step, stage by stage, one after the other. The next function of cardiovascular system, which is number 4, is called transport of waste products. Of course, you can see quickly, by now I expect you to know the names of these organs. You can see quickly that here is your kidney, and then here they are the lungs, right? Oh yes, the lungs. Here is your left lung, and here is your your right lung. And then this is your kidney. Now, how do they transport waste products? Very simple. This is it. Take note that metabolic waste products, such as your urine, metabolic waste products such as toxins, are transported to the organs responsible for excretion. And what are the primary organs that are responsible for excretions? We have the kidneys, and then we have the lungs, so that they will be eliminated from the body. And what we ensure that this waste gets to where they should go to? Cardiovascular system. Another very quickly is this. It is called the transport of hormones. What are hormones? Hormones are chemical substances or biochemical substances produced in minute quantity in one part of the body, and they are transported to their point of action where they exert their specific purposes. Now you can see very quickly here that this guy that we have here, of course, this is around your trachea, right? What do you call this? This is your thyroid gland. And around the thyroid gland, of course, there are other glands that will not be in attachments in this area there. That's the parathyroid gland, right? Oh yes. How do they transport hormones? Very quickly, hormones are chemical messengers that are produced by glands. What produce hormones? Of course, hormones are produced by glands, and they regulate various body functions. Now, these hormones are transported around the body by the aid of the cardiovascular system. Take note of this, that the cardiovascular system helps to transport hormones from their points or their site of production, and their site of production there, they are the endocrine glands. Of course, glands are either endocrine or exocrine. In histology, I'll teach you all of that. To their target organs or tissues where they exert their effects. The next function of cardiovascular system, very quickly, it is called the transport and distribution of heat. Cardiovascular system transport and distribute heat. How does it achieve that? Very simple. Blood circulation plays a crucial role in regulating body temperature. How does the blood carry out this? It's very simple. Blood carries heat away from internal organs. Are you getting me now? Internal organs. Of course, have you seen where they carry out operation for a patient before? When the patient when after the surgery and the procedure, everywhere is trying to heal. What do you think happened? You start feeling intense pain. Everywhere is hot. Are you getting me now? Blood carries heat away from internal organs, and it will distribute it to the skin surfaces so that it can be released to the environment. In other words, the heat in the body, the blood, we ensure that it carries it out, and then it distributes them and release them into the environment. Another character, very quickly, that you must not forget is called the transport of immune proteins. I told you we're hearing transport of. That's why the main function of cardiovascular system is what? Transport of immune proteins. Immune proteins like what? Cardiovascular system is involved in transporting immune proteins, immune cells, and antibodies to various parts of the body. And this will help in defending the body from infections and diseases. Now, understand that the next factor that we have very quickly, the next function of cardiovascular system is called the transport of drugs and foreign substances. Now, how does the cardiovascular system transport drugs? How do they transport foreign substances? This is it. Substances like medications, the drugs that you take. You know, only you are already a full-time practicing nurse or a full-time practicing doctor. You are now prescribing things for yourself. Well done. Substances like your medications, your toxins, and your foreign particles, they are transported through the body via bloodstream. In other words, via the bloodstream, and they influence various organs and tissues of the body. Are you getting me? If you take in drug, of course, there are routes in which your drugs follow. Whether it's oral, whether it is intravenous, whether it's intramuscular, whether it's even anal. Woo! Oh yes, of course, anal is also part of it. Now, what we ensure that they circulate or they are transported around the body in general, of course, it is the cardiovascular system.
Hello guys, if you are enjoying this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bells to be notified when more beautiful videos drop.
Now that you catch this, guess what? This brings us to the end of everything about these functions of your cardiovascular system. So we are done about everything we're supposed to note in this class. And guess what? We're going to take a couple of questions as we proceed together. Let me give you some questions fast to test you quickly as it is hot. Now, understand this with me very fast. We have some couple of questions we have to attempt here very quickly. Look at exam/question 1. Question 1 here says, what is the primary function of cardiovascular system? I've told you option A, distribution of nutrients. Option B, say regulation of body temperature. Option C, say transport of substances. Option D, say production of hormones. What is the primary function of cardiovascular system? Of course, it is transport. And that means option C, transport of substances, is the correct answer. Look at question 2 very quickly as it is born. Let's take some couple of questions very quickly. Question 2 here says which character is true of systemic circulation? Systemic circulation, which of these character is true? Option A says distribution of nutrients. Option B says operate with negative mean pressure. That's wrong. Which pressure does it operate with? Positive mean pressure. Option C says involve parallel arrangement of organs. Organs, are they arranged in series or in parallel? Of course, in parallel. Option D says operate with closed blood vessels. Operate within closed blood vessels. Of course, they also operate within closed vessels. But which one is the true character of cardiovascular system? Please, you should know that two answers here look very correct. Of course, option C and option D look correct here. But which one should you go for here? Which character is true of cardiovascular system? They involve parallel arrangement of organs. You operate with closed blood vessels. They are not asking you closed blood vessels because you already know that one is a very direct answer that everybody knows. They involve your parallel arrangement of organs. That makes option C the correct answer. C, welcome to college. Let's go. Question 3 very quickly. The lovely question you should hold tight and know here very fast. Question 3 says, which statement about blood flow is accurate? Which statement about the flow of blood is accurate? Option A says blood flow is entirely continuous, not pulsatile. Option B here says blood flow originates from the lungs. Option C says pulsatile flow is due to rhythmic contraction of blood vessels. Hey, they remind me. Option D says pulsatile flow is more pronounced in veins than arteries. What's the correct answer? Of course, take note of this, that option B cannot be the answer. Blood flow originates from the lungs. That's not true. It is from the heart. Now, option A, blood flow is entirely continuous and not pulsatile. That's very wrong, because blood flow is what? Pulsatile and then continuous as well. Option D says blood flow is more pronounced in veins than the artery. Option C says blood flow is due to rhythmic. What's the correct answer? Option C becomes the correct answer, which is blood flow is due to rhythmic contraction of blood vessels. Are you getting me? Look at the next question, question 4. In our beautiful, interesting question 4, we were given this lovely question. Which term describes the expansion and the contraction of blood vessel wall with changes in blood pressure? Expansion and contraction. What do you call that term? Option A says it is called elasticity. Option B says rigidity. Option C says vasodilation. Option D says vasoconstriction. What's the answer? Of course, it is what? Elasticity being the answer. Look at question number 5. Who is excited? Let's go. Now, question 5 here says what is the purpose of passive filling of the heart chamber? Passive filling, passive, not active. Option A says to actively draw blood into the heart. Option B says to prevent backflow of blood. Option C says to maintain positive mean pressure. Option D says to ensure efficient ejection of blood. Now, the purpose of passive filling of blood, we say blood is filled passively, not actively. It is to ensure effective ejection of blood. That makes option D the correct answer. In our question 6 here, we were given this beautiful question. Let's take 6 questions. After question 6, we'll pause. Look at this question here. Which factor has a significant influence on the rate of blood flow in blood vessel? Which one has significant influence on the rate of blood flow in blood vessel? Now, factor that affect the rate of blood flow in blood vessel. That's where the question is coming from. Option A says heart rate. Option B says blood color. Option C says blood mass index. And option D says blood viscosity. Of course, blood viscosity, making option D the correct answer. I said that 3 major factors there. We have what is called your vessel diameter, we have what is called your vessel length, and then we have what is called your blood viscosity. These are the 3 major factors that have to do with the rate of blood flow. Are you getting me now? Of course, this brings us to the end of this class. Now, I'm sure you have learned some couple of things. Guess what? The next class quickly I'm going to receive under this is nothing but 20 or 30 MCQs under this. Ensure you run through the 20 MCQs so that you see the nature of MCQs. Are you getting me now? And the thing that will make me to know that you are following quickly is this. Is if you are able to go to the MCQ questions yourself and you answer all of them and then you are getting them yourself. That is what we ensure that you have learned a lot from this class. Love you guys. Ensure you are subscribed to this channel if you have not done that, and ensure that you share this class to others. Peace out. Enjoy. Take care.
Hello guys, The class you just finished watching was brought to you by the LearnLiftApp. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bells so that when beautiful and educative videos drop, you would get notified.